I've since moved to LA. I've been in LA for like 9 years now, so yeah, I'm officially West Coaster now.
Yeah. So you like Hollywood?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, it's such a big change from from the East Coast. It's two different worlds, really. But it was a nice change, and I've grown to really love it out here.
Yeah. You want to give us a brief history about Powerman 5000 for people who don't know who you are?
We're that band that did it the old school way. We got together as friends, and well, the lineup's changed since the early days, but just hashed it out in the clubs. Lugging our own gear through the snow in Boston, playing in front of 10 people, and slowly but surely building a following, and which led to a record deal, which led to some success and selling a bunch of records, and we've gone through a lot of changes. I'm really the only original member left, which is kind of weird, but so we just keep going and keep evolving and keep making music and playing shows.
Now, when did you guys start?
It's hard to say. I mean, we started in the early 90s, so like 91, 92 is probably right when the first lineup got together, so we've been doing it for a while.
Yeah. Now, I know you made a quote on MTV.com, which I really liked, was that you want to be original when you're recording, like you guys are recording your upcoming album, and all those people like Ashley Simpson and stuff, when they record, they want to use all them effects and make their vocals sound better, and you guys want to be original.
On this record, I mean, that's really the goal on the new one. We've made all kinds of records. We've made from the lowest budget indie records to big major label records where we used every trick in the book. And on this one, I kind of want to get back to the basics, how we started, and just bang it out and live in the studio and have it sound really raw and exciting, instead of clean. Everybody wants to clean everything up and have everything sound perfect, and that's not what a rock band sounds like. You come see us tonight, you hear all kinds of mistakes. I'm lucky if I hit one note right tonight. But, so I want to get a little bit of that live feeling on the new record, just so it sounds exciting.
Yeah. So how many guys are in the band besides you?
It's 4. We got 2 guitar players, bass and drums. Basic rock band.
Yeah. So that's Alien Ant Farm member?
Yeah, I mean, we've been fortunate to find some really great new guitar players. We got Terry, who used to be in Alien Ant Farm, and Johnny, who was in a band called Half Cock that I actually signed to DreamWorks originally when we were on DreamWorks. And so I've known Johnny for a long time, and so it's cool to get these guys in the band.
Yeah, so DreamWorks, you're signed with that label. How'd you start off with that? You guys were playing a show in New York?
Yeah, it was just purely luck, coincidence. I mean, we had been playing, at the point we got signed, we were playing a lot in Boston and packing out clubs. And, we were kind of like the big band in Boston, and we were nobody in New York. And we went to New York and played a show, and if there were 10 people there, I would have been surprised. But it just so happened that that was the night, this A&R guy showed up, and he loved it, and he ended up signing us. So.
Never know who's going to be watching.
Yeah, I mean, that's a real lesson for a band is, we've been like I said before with making records. It's the same thing with the live thing. We've been on the highest highs and the lowest lows, and sometimes you sell out a room, and sometimes you don't. But you still got to go out there and give it, 100%, and that's what we try to do. And being signed off that show is really like the ultimate lesson. Is that you can't. We could have rolled in there and not cared because there was nobody there, and maybe missed our opportunity.
Yeah, it's always 100% all the
Yeah,
way.
absolutely.
Yeah. So. Tell us more about that album. How long have you guys been in progress of that?
The new record? It feels like it's been forever, because I started writing the record with our old guitar player now is no longer in the band, and so since we've got some new guys, and so we started the writing process over again. But it's pretty much done, and we're shooting for like an April release, so not too much longer.
Yeah.
We have a tendency to take forever to make a record, which is a bad thing in the music biz, but when it's right, we put it out.
Yeah, well, I'm a good wrestling fan, and it's nice to be watching TV or playing the video games and hear Powerman 5000 songs.
It's weird how we got somehow into that wrestling world. I mean, we never, we had a song called Bombshell that was used as a theme for some wrestlers, and I didn't even know until some fan on the website posted that he heard the song, and then I tuned in and heard it, and then recently we got courted by the WW video game to put some songs on that. So we, I don't know, I guess our music just inspires like big guys in tights to beat each other up or something. I don't know.
Nice. Yeah, so you guys started in the early 90s, but when did people realize, because I probably haven't heard from you about you guys till like the late 90s.
Right.
And, saw you guys on MTV and stuff with some of your music videos.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's sort of when it blew up. I mean, we didn't get signed till, if we started in 91, we didn't get signed till 97, and then we didn't have a hit until 99. So it's a long road, and I always have a lot of local bands ask me, like, what advice do you have? And my thing is, man, it's a marathon. It's endurance. It's not you're gonna start a band and get signed in 2 months and have a hit single. You gotta really tough it out, and you gotta really want to do it. And it takes a long time sometimes. I mean, some bands get lucky and get it early, but we just kept fighting until it finally worked.
Like your Good and Bad and Ugly album that took you, 6 years to make almost?
I mean, that's a good that's a good reference point to hear what the band sounded like way in the early days. I mean, that's from, I think, stuff between like 91 and 96. That's before we got signed, before anybody knew who we were. And it's really a record that's just like full of growing pains. You can hear some cool stuff and some stuff where we didn't know what we were doing. And that was the whole point of that record, is just to give fans an insight into how the band started.
Yeah. Now, you guys' image on those music videos is by the Y2K era, where everyone was afraid the world was going to end, and you guys wrote a song called "When Worlds Collide," and that music video is pretty cool. And you guys were all dressed up. And,
I mean, that record was that was our sort of we embarked into sort of a cool sci-fi influenced album, and the funny thing about that image is that it was never meant to be forever. I just wanted to make a record like that, And then that was the record that became really popular, and so everybody just thought, well, that's who we are. We're like the science fiction band, and now we don't do that anymore. And you get some kids that are disappointed that they don't see that image, but that was just a moment in time for us, and I wouldn't want to get stuck into having to do that kind of character all the time. You know what I mean? So we made a clear line, and we drew a line in the sand for the next record and stripped it back down and said, we're not the Spaceman band.
Yeah, that would have been cool though, if you guys got that image.
You know what? I mean, who knows? Maybe it'll come back. Maybe it won't. But, we just like the music on each record. We like to keep changing and evolving and having things, fresh every time we do it, not just the same retreaded thing over and over.
Life's too short to try variety when you can.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you have a lot of inspired people that were in your life, like your brother Rob Zombie.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to tell us more about that? Was he really, when you told him, hey, I want to be in a band, was he like, proud of you, or?
Well, I mean, the funny thing about the Rob situation that a lot of people don't realize is that it was sort of the other way around. People assume because he sort of gained a lot more success quicker that suddenly I was following in his footsteps. But the reality is, when he was in New York going to art school and learning how to paint, I was home, at 13 years old playing in a hardcore punk band in high school. You know what I mean? So he didn't start a band until after I had done it for a few years, which is kind of funny. And so it's just worked out cool. The opposite. But I mean, and we both grew up, sort of loving the same music and the same movies and stuff. The same influences are there. But I actually sort of dove into the whole band thing before he did.
It's interesting. The truth comes out.
Exclusive for you right here.
There you go.